This is kind of weird. When we all took out our VR, we're all probably thinking the same thing. And for the price,
A month ago, I saw this reel on Instagram. And one thing about me is that I love trying new things, so I booked this experience immediately. Come with me to New York City to try the first ever Michelin fine dining VR experience. It was a gray and moody day, but I'm hoping today's food will brighten it. Stay with me till the end because what happened, I did not see coming. Alright, you guys, we are standing outside ICCA, a one Michelin star omakase, and now apparently a portal to another dimension. When I first saw this on Instagram, I thought, could just be another gimmick. But then, I looked at the reviews about the restaurant, even without the VRs. The reviews are already glowing. So now I'm thinking, if the food already slaps before the VR, what happens when you put the VR headset on? Guess we're about to find out. Walking in, things felt a little hectic. Used plates still on the counter, a touch of chaos in the air, not exactly the polished first impression you'd expect from a Michelin-starred restaurant. I sat down and drank my probiotics while waiting for the dinner to begin. This is where I met Nikolai and Elizaveta, the founders of Epic Now, the minds behind this virtual reality dinner. They were warm, welcoming, and it almost felt like I was crashing a dinner hosted by friends. When I booked this dinner, part of the experience was a sake pairing. But I have to be honest, I felt the elegance of sake tasting get taken away when it was the founders who started pouring, and when we didn't get tasting notes. They simply said,
It's our original sake, not sparkling. It's more traditional one.
to me, if the reservation says it's a sake pairing, it should be a guided tasting, not just drinking. Still, the Desai Sparkling and Desai 50 were lovely. They're both very friendly on the palate. I really like them. Very refreshing. I remember the very first time I had sake and I thought it was very strong. But this, I think if you're new to drinking sakes, this is great. It's very friendly, refreshing, fruit forward. I started to feel my body heat up. I'm not used to drinking sakes without food. They also made us pick a card, which became a nice souvenir. Now it's time to move to the main dining room. I wasn't sure what to do with my unfinished glass of sake since I thought it will be paired with food. I don't want to waste my drink, so I brought it with me. Then I was told I can't bring it in because we don't want any liquids near the VR. Fair enough, I just wish they said this at the bar. The omakase room is intimate, only 9 seats inside. Elizaveta guided us through how to wear and use the VR. Now the experience begins. They made sure my VR is well fitted and that everything's sharp. It's tough because the clarity changes depending on how the VR is positioned on my face. Slight movements and it gets kind of blurry. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's a good fit. When I chatted with the founders at the bar, it was clear this project was their baby. They wanted every guest's first experience to feel like stepping into a dream they had carefully crafted, which is why I waited until their final run at ICCA before I posted this. Out of respect, I'm only sharing graphics from the VR that they've approved for sharing. The omakase unfolds in 8 acts, each dish paired with a different world. I first tested if I could see the outlines of my hands because we'll need that visual later to get the food. Curious what we're seeing? Here are some of them. We started traveling through Edo period Japan, traversing lush enchanted forests, and exploring avatar-like dreamscapes blooming with color. All to a cinematic soundtrack that pulled us deeper into the fantasy. I was so immersed in the visuals that I didn't realize there's already food in front of me. The Epic Now staff came to tell me, and it's now time for our first bite. A fried Spanish mackerel with plum and shiso. Flaky, sweet, salty, so many textures dancing at once. Then it's followed by a salmon tartare with caviar. I can't help but wish I have a glass of sake to pair this delicious dish with. I'm not a huge sake drinker, but it's something I enjoy better with food because it truly enhances the experience. It's a little sad to see how a lot of the guests barely finish their sakes at the bar, including me. Now comes the third bite, monkfish liver toast. Monkfish liver is known as the foie gras of the sea. It's a rich, creamy, and savory delicacy in Japan. It has a slightly sweet, almost umami-like flavor, and the texture, velvety smooth like a fine pate. Fourth bite is tamago with truffle oil. You know, for fun, I make tamago at home, but it tastes nowhere near how the chef made this. I've never tried adding truffle oil on my tamago, so I'll take inspiration from here. During the fifth act, the visuals became transparent. We watched sushi master Kazushige Suzuki make a medium fatty tuna nigiri right in front of us. Then we got transported back to Japan, where we enjoyed this nigiri. This act reminded me of my internship there back in college, which was one of the highlights of my life. It's incredible to tie in my personal memory to different sights, sounds, and flavors of Japan tonight. Then our sixth bite is Tokachi herb beef braised in red wine. Here I encountered a glitch as visuals of my hands were stuck mid-air even though my hands were not there. They fixed this quickly, and we're back. You know, it's nice to feel my other senses heighten when the ability to see the food gets taken away. And from there, the brain fills in the gaps and gets your imagination going. The VR supplements this even more by taking us to different scenes. The seventh bite is a torotake roll. Here, the richness of the fatty tuna meets the tangy sweetness of the pickled daikon radish. Now, when you're immersed in the experience, you're not really counting how many bites of food you've had. Well, personally, I wasn't counting. All I know is that I was a little baffled when it was time to take out the VR because I was still hungry. I watched as the chef served the next course, dessert. It's a chestnut monaka, a traditional Japanese sweet with crispy wafers filled with chestnut filling. Delicate and nostalgic, but also the last course. Do I think this experience is worth $250?
I just finished my dinner. I think that was 8 bites. I'm hungry! No water. I understand that they don't give water during the meal because you might drop it when you're wearing the VR. This is kind of weird. When we all took out our VR, it's time for dessert. It's just quiet. Like the whole room was so quiet and we're all probably thinking the same thing. That's it? Is that it? We're still hungry. And for the price, I mean, I don't know. It's a little jarring. I'm still trying to process what just happened. I don't know. I'm hungry.
The entire dinner lasted 20 minutes. 20. And while I liked the novelty of the idea, I struggled with the execution, unfortunately. Because the restaurant ICCA is closed Sundays and Mondays, the VR dinner happens then, meaning there was no service staff. The Epic Now founders wore every hat. Host, bartender, server, they had the heart, but that's a lot for anyone. Service matters not just for efficiency, but for feeling taken care of. There was no napkin for me to wipe my hands on when I used my hands to pick up the sushi. Then no water was offered in the dining room, even after the VR ended. To me, a lot of these concerns could have been avoided by having proper service at the restaurant. This is a $250 dinner. Still, this experience taught me something. Innovation always comes with growing pains. The idea has potential, but the execution needs a lot of polishing. I also realized that eating with something strapped on my face is not my thing. So, what did you think of New York's first Michelin-starred VR dinner? I'm Kelly Gomez, and thank you for stepping into this brave new dining world with me tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell because there's so much more delicious adventures waiting for us. Until then, keep tasting the world one experience at a time.